Welcome to Crypto Flywheel, the podcast where we spin up strategies to turn your digital efforts into unstoppable momentum. Now, let's get that flywheel turning. Professor Rex, was that you that I saw in the corner of my eyes this morning lifting 500 pounds in squats?
That could have been. It could have been.
I was in a rush to get out of the gym. I thought I saw you. I didn't have time to come up and say hello.
No, that's good. I saw you leaving. I did text you, but you were already at home by the time I got to texting. But
all right.
Yeah, there were a lot of stuff happening. How was your morning thus far?
It was going well. It's going good. So today we're doing something a little different. We're talking about the traditional banking world, specifically something called Basel III. I know we discussed a little bit yesterday, but we didn't really get into it, and I really don't want to get into depth with it. So I'm going to keep it simple and give a brief overview.
Yeah. Digital X, I also wanted to add.
Yeah.
Basel III.
I'll give you that opportunity. Let me go ahead and go over it, and then you could add to it. Does that sound good?
Yeah. No, I wasn't going to add to that. I was going to say how it relates to what's happening in the geopolitical scene. So I'll leave it at that, and then let you continue, and then we could get into that. I just wanted to just put that out there with for our audience as well.
Okay, no problem. Okay, so I want to go over like a brief overview. I don't want to get into it in depth. I know Professor Rex can cover that if you feel like it's important, So let's go ahead. Have you guys ever wondered why banks act conservative sometimes, or why they hold tons of cash and government bonds, or why lending can feel tight during certain times? A lot of it comes down to Basel III rules. And honestly, understanding Basel III helps explain why crypto and DeFi feel so appealing to a lot of people, because they operate outside the heavy regulatory framework. So DeFi and crypto, a lot of people invest into it because it's easy to move money and there's no restrictions. So let's break it down in simple terms. What is Basel III? I want you to imagine a group of the world's top central bankers and regulators sitting in Basel, Switzerland. That's where it originated, because that's where they created the rule Basel III. After the 2008 financial crisis, when banks were collapsing like dominoes because they didn't have enough real money to cover their bets, they said, hey, we need stronger rules so this never happens again, So Basel III is basically the upgraded rule book they created starting around 2010. Remember, a crisis was in 2008, so they implemented this, or they created this in 2010. It's not a law everywhere, but almost every major country adopts it into their own banking laws. The goal is simple. It's to make banks tougher so they can survive big shocks without needing taxpayer bailouts while still lending to businesses and people. So Basel III forces the banks to have three things: more and higher quality capital available at all times, liquidity rules placed, and then leverage limits. So, Professor Rex, do you have anything you want to expand to this?
Well, I think, I'm going to leave Basel III to your, explanations. And I want to correlate Basel III into the crypto flywheel perspective as it relates to what we've been talking about, like ISO 20022 and the real world assets, and what the underpinnings are of this entire ecosystem. So that's what my I'd like to let our listeners in on, and what our thoughts are on that.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, okay. So with today, all over the social media waves, their platforms, there's so much information about, so much news about the Nicolas Maduro and Venezuela capturing, and the war and what have you. Now, Digital X, what is your idea of what is actually happening? I mean, I think that there is a read between the line moment here of what's happening, with the financial system.
Yeah,
right.
You're 100% right. I mean, they want you to look here and something else is happening. I think the whole intent was Venezuela was one of those countries that didn't have the central bank instilled in their country. So it's an opportunity for them to bring in that banking system that everywhere else except, I believe, like there's 3 or 4 other countries that don't currently practice.
Well, it has to do more so with the sanctions, don't you think? Like Venezuela, Russia, there's sanctions out there, Iran, all of these are actually, yeah.
It's like the sanctions are only with countries that don't have central banks, right?
Correct.
It's just a power play. But, the distraction is we need the oil, or, we need to take out the current leadership. Is to place it's to place leadership that's compliant with the banking industry. That's the whole play here.
Yeah, I believe that too. And, we've talked about in previous episodes about the debasement of the dollar.
Uh-huh.
So my thing is that my thought process on this story is that Venezuela is actually not the story. The story, like I said, was sanctions, regimes, pressure, and contested sovereignty. These are triggers, essentially, right? So, I think that we need to understand, we need our audiences to understand the traditional system. You mentioned it with T3 and T2 settlement times. It's very slow. It's permissioned. It's intermediary heavy, and there's always a political gatekeeper. I feel like there's so many overlords, if you will.
Actually, it's not political. It's more there's a banking gatekeeper. That's how the world turns, right? Money moves the world, right? So it's not political. It's not Democrats. It's not Republicans. It's not any different regimes. It's basically a banking cartel that runs our countries or the world.
Yeah, exactly. Precisely why I think that this is not a Venezuela problem in a moment of crises. What you told, what we just mentioned above in the, the things that you just mentioned, these are weaknesses that compound. Capital freezes, trading settlement delays, FX mismatches, foreign exchange mismatches, liquidity hoarding. This is that's why I don't think it's a Venezuela problem. It's more so a system design problem, So that's where the ushering of what we're talking about usually on our podcast, we talk about the ushering of the new financial system, right? So there has to be a reason for that. So while the world is focusing on this being a war or whatever this is, it's actually an ushering in of the new financial system. It's actually being tested right now. And, these tests need to be done while the people don't really engage as much. So they're focused elsewhere.
You're absolutely right. So I'm glad you brought that up. I mean, people needs to be aware of what's happening, how the markets move, how the markets really work, what triggers, the runs and the dumps. So having said that, today's market, we're at 3.1 trillion total market cap, with Bitcoin again at 90,000, Ethereum at over $3,100, XRP's over $2, BNB's over $878. I mean, Solana's at 133. I mean, Solana's moving up slowly as well. So the markets are moving positively. So let's hope it continues, right? So having said that, I mean, it's important, like Professor Rex was saying, about the banks, how the banks have a hold on the world, how the markets work, right? So I just want to tell our audience, don't just I just want to remind them something, don't forget who you are up against. You're up against the bankers, So let me tell you what they do. They move with patience that most retail investors never see. We never see what they're doing, right? Everything's done behind closed doors. They make decisions long before the public understands what's happening. So, and this is why firms like Vanguard and BlackRock operate in silence behind scenes. We don't know what they're doing. Everything's done under their, what do they call it? Black pools or
native markets and black pools. Yeah.
Retail only hears about their crypto moves once they're already in position. So don't mistake their silence for stagnation, right? While retail is fed fear, bunch of noise and volatility headlines, they love to push that out into the social media. Institutional players are quietly preparing for the next shift while they're doing all this, so they're slowly accumulating, they're aligning, and they're shaping what's coming next, right? So
I agree.
So the stakes are real, but you're not powerless. So the Crypto Flywheel, we try to educate you so you understand what's really happening. You guys aren't powerless. So if you understand their mindsets and the way they approach the market, you give yourself a real chance to rise above the distractions and move with purpose.
Yeah. So Digital X, I want to give you credit on this podcast name. You came up with the name. I absolutely love the name, the Crypto Flywheel. Flywheel in its intent. Well, what does it mean? It actually means momentum, right? Like everything that is happening behind the scenes from a speculative testing standpoint, every transaction moving forward is creating a momentum where testing is going to be adoption, right? Smoothly.
It's actually unstoppable momentum. That's what a flywheel, right?
Yeah, so because it's not speculation anymore. It has to do with utility and real world applications, right? Everything is going to be digitalized, so it's not a matter of a speculative token anymore per se. Everything is going to come on chain, meaning that everything is going to, it's a new shift in a paradigm. It's a shift in paradigm. We're moving from a legacy system, old banking financial system. And if you are informed about it and go read between the lines and understand how to position yourself, our listeners are positioned. If you comprehend, engage with us, comment, ask questions, we can talk about it, and then we will expound on your comments and questions, and then we can further position ourselves to capitalize from the ecosystem evolving. So that's my whole point. That's the flywheel moment.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It can go in either direction. It could go in a positive direction or in the negative, because there's a lot of good companies that can generate that positive momentum, and then you have a lot of these scams and these rug pulls and liquidity issue companies that can create that momentum going downwards.
Right. Well, that's when we're looking at it. That's what we're doing, Digital X. We're telling our listeners, look, don't look at it from utility tokens per se or meme tokens. That's not where the value is. The value here is that the real world assets are the anchor of this new financial system, right? So the next financial system does not just tokenize. It tokenizes not just memes, but it tokenizes utility like energy, commodities, treasuries, real estate, trade receivables, infrastructure, cash flows, you name it. All of these things are coming on chain. So, because there's legal clarity and the data integrity, settlement certainty, regulatory compatibility, all of these things provide confidence for institutions and retail investors alike,
Yep. So, you have any other topics today, or you want to go ahead and close it out early today?
Oh, yeah. So, I just wanted to recap, basically. There's a lot going on in the world as it relates to geopolitical narratives that kind of breaks legacy finance and at the seams. So we talk about ISO 222 all the time, right, Digital X? And this gives institutions a common language, the ISO 20022. Real world assets give the system something real to settle. And when these two meet on digital rails, that's when the flywheel starts spinning. So there's momentum, transaction after transaction after transaction. It just keeps going and builds momentum, stoppable, as you say. Yeah, that's what I wanted to tie this to. So all of this is just smoke. Our listeners need to see through that smoke, position themselves, and get ready for that unstoppable momentum that we understand or comprehend enough to position ourselves and take the capital and capitalize as needed, where needed. So with that, I mean, if you don't have anything further, Digital X, do you have anything else further to add?
No, go ahead, close it out.
Okay, so then again, before I close it out, I also always ask that our listeners to please engage, comment on these episodes, and then ask questions. We can talk more about it. In fact, I've had one listener reach out to me and say that we need to, it's over their head. So there's no question. So if we wanted to bring it down to a layman terminology, please comment and say so that we can talk about it, because we understand this at a higher level. Both of us have 7 to 8 years of experience in this space. So yeah, with that, I think we can conclude today's episode. Digital X, and the Crypto Flywheel is signing off right now.
Thank you.